Welcome back to round 4 of GPN. I think it's gynoidpoet, but I believe I'm playing for a buy here. Opponent's on green red go wide, the more burn oriented version than I was playing its last round. Pretty annoyed by my lack of interactions matchup, much like the previous round, but I'll manage. This hand isn't keepable, no castable spells. This hand is probably not keepable either. Like I think what makes this hand not keepable is that I can't actually play Cultivate on one without like I need to grab a forest or else I'm kind of awkward with Painlands. I think I'm mulligan this. It's maybe arguable, might be a keep with more matchup knowledge. And then this is fine. Guess I'm bottoming Dragon's Eye Cataract. I think that makes sense. It's a bit annoying to do this, but I think this is what I do. I do like having Sinkhole. We'll have to make some choices here. I'll see what they do turn 1, decide whether I Nat or Sinkhole. That's what is good to see. That means that Nat is probably a bit safer. I do feel kind of inclined to give up Sinkhole here. Nat doesn't really do anything because I don't have any direct mill. I mean, I can ask to work for Battle Cultivator, but I don't have a fetch land. So if Cultivator hits a creature, it doesn't actually activate Nat. I would just go Island Pass. My opponent did Mulligan. They're also on the play, so I can trade 1 for 1 here. Pretty happy about that. Try to dismantle the strategy a little bit. Because in general, my cards are a bit more valuable than theirs are if we get into kind of low economy. Don't love seeing this. Kind of like seeing that. So this is Solar Flare here with you, Social Graces. Feel inclined to just go Nebula for blue-green pass. Don't really want to get here with you. Would like to counter that if possible. You have the option to go Nat, pull up Sinkhole. I don't think that's crazy either. Particularly because I can't Sinkhole a 2-drop if there's a here with you on the end step. But I think I'm fine just going Simic Pass. Not in love with my spot. Would have very much so preferred for my opponent to have played something on their turn there. Because I think it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to be able to masterwork for Pika here. You with you feel incredibly obligated to counter that. So now I think the ideal is probably that they don't have a 3rd land and they run to the Sinkhole. Forced to run in the Sinkhole rather. And then hopefully I hit a land so I can Nat plus something else. I am also playing slowly enough that this Hatsos maneuver might come and get me the late game. Okay, in the range, not a good sign. Do enjoy seeing that, because that means my Nat's safer. They just pass it back. Hollow is a good draw. So you have some amount of options here. I feel inclined to just go Muckboozer, hold up Sinkhole. Prevents a Hatsor's reprise, prevents a heal with you on the end step. I think Sinkhole is kind of getting low value in general, just because I mean, I have the masterwork. Nat, running at Nat's okay, but I think the time's kind of passed for me to want to masterwork for a 1-drop here, unless I've hit my 4th land, so Seeker can be a 2-2. I think I'm just gonna run Muckboozer, stem the bleeding a little bit, and hope this Sinkhole hits something. If the Sinkhole does hit something, I'd be really happy about that. But nothing on instep, which I don't know if that's good or not. We'll see if they decide to grab a Painland or basic here. Painland would be scarier, because that means Advocate of the Hunt is potentially gonna get me. So it looks like they do fetch a Painland. You maybe have an interesting choice if they do just play an Advocate of the Hunt here and just Sinkholing it. Forcing them to tap their Painland. Probably not worthwhile, but it's an option. But these are going to be, these next probably 2 turns, definitely going to be very important in how the game goes. Whether or not the Sinkhole is going to get any value. Whether or not this is going to be a long game or short game. That kind of stuff probably hinges on what they cast here in my next draw step. The Magmatic Torrent. Okay, play it tapped. But that's fine. We'll see if they assume they're attacking everything. Oh, pass. Huh. Not even bothering attacking. Interesting. Monkey Shine. Yeah. One of the monkey shines this deck is that you want to be milling most of the time, but you want to find a land here. So I think the kind of natural thing to do would be nat pass, then have sinkhole and masterwork up, depending. I think in general I'd like to preserve the masterwork, hopefully punish my opponent's low life total. I I do think I want a monkey shines first. It is a bit awkward, but I think it gives me feeling a lot more options than other things. Maku's a Wayfarer Shrine. Don't mind the Wayfarer Shrine. Do mind the Maku's a little bit. I don't think I want a second Makuza here. I think I just pop the Wayfarer Shrine and immediately crack it. Nat pass. Hope that sinkhole hits Atsu's. God. And master. That's such a tame line. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm not in love with this, but I think I will do it. This also maybe has the effect of encouraging Hatsu's maneuver to be reprised here, which I'd be pretty happy about, because that would be a single target. And it's just this is merely just kind of a natural thing to do, so don't mind in that sense. And my opponent has kind of showed that they aren't really on that much action at the moment. Could definitely change with the draw step, but okay. Third Rampant Summit. So definitely keeping their options open for more aggressive lines or not. That is 5 mana, so if they have a spell here, they can definitely surprise Hatsu's. I believe every spell in their deck lets them click it. I suppose I do have a choice in whether I want to. They do just pass. I do have a choice in whether I want to Masterwork or Sinkhole. God. So I have a Mukbooz on top of my deck, which I don't really want, which is strange to say, because Mukbooz is really great. I can't actually afford to crack this Wayfarer Shrine, because that would let them actually, that would let them reprise on social graces. Interesting. So I guess if that's the case, I can never do it. Interesting. All the instants are 2 mana, so I do think I'm gonna crack this Wayfarer Shrine for a first, I suppose. And I think I'm not gonna play the Twisted Masterwork. I think holding up the sinkhole is pretty important here. I do think I'm gonna respect my opponent playing around it. Cataract is kind of whatever. Does encourage a low game. Definitely gonna play that tapped. Pass the turn back. See if they fire off a surprise Hatsu's here. Like that is happening. So I was definitely good to respect that. This does open up a spell top deck from them. Hopefully isn't gonna be too bad for me, hopefully. Would really prefer that. Okay, Daisy is kinda scary. That is an Anthem. I don't really have any answers that. Imagine I am going to have to race here. That means Masterwork finding Cultivator, buff up the Mukboozer, and flip the Nat on the following turn. Interested to see if they attack with Minister or not. Yeah, I think it's always finding Cultivator here. I'm definitely outraced. Okay, yeah, if they attack with the Minister, I'm definitely finding Cultivator. And entirely whiff. Oh, right. So entirely whiffing on Cultivator. Definitely don't. Misplaying on the Hollow is bad too. Definitely blocking here. I guess this. Yeah, I think it's correct to block the Minister. Does let the Cleric survive, but gonna be better than just blocking a token. Let's remember my Nat trigger. Say critical here. Cataract or whatever. Drifting Glade. Hopefully you draw something big here. Pulse Vision's not a bad draw. Actually a very good draw. Doesn't manage to use it. When it's stacking the deck with Solar Fairs. Get a Nat. Okay. So the Mukboozer is a 10-11. So I actually do force a chump here, which is a big deal. Is 10, right? 15, -7, 8. So perfectly force a chump block. And now I'm not sure if there's like a couple of things I have to dodge here. Basically, I mainly have to dodge a spell from my opponent, or instant sorcery that Hatsu's can be reprised onto. Does heal them for. Because a spell would mean that they have jump blocks from Mukboozer and can apply pressure. Point. Happy to see that. They just concede. I mean, yeah, I guess they didn't really have any outs, so they're still on attack with Mukboozer. I guess attack with like one nat. So Council's Maneuver is a card I hate because one toughness creatures become exceptionally bad. I'm gonna start out by doing that. My opponent does have Steel Driftway, which I don't love. So Spellboot seems solid, maybe not exceptional, but solid. This seems fine. Ambitions also seems fine. Like, there's a bit of awkwardness here, because, I mean, Nat was pretty good that game, though. That was off my opponent, like, very tense. My opponent did just throw away two Hatzos to start, and didn't manage to reprise them. Not saying that was wrong for my opponent, but just kind of worked out in a favorable way for Nat. And like Spell Pierce has its problems, and so does Ambitions, but I think this is the way I want to play the matchup. And yeah. I mean, like, this is kind of what Sideboarding like that does. I think I'm obligated to keep this. I don't love it. Oh, I kind of actively hate it almost. But I do like have answers for things. I think Double Visions is like nice. Just kind of in general. Watching face immediately. Interesting. Cataract. I think there's maybe an argument for playing Cataract tapped, but I think there's probably also an argument for Oracle's Visioning. Just because Spell Pierce isn't that great, and Sunken Ambitions immediately is also kind of whatever. I think I'm inclined to Oracle's Vision, just because I do need to find some action. Definitely possible that this ends up biting me in the butt. Nebula isn't a great draw, but is kind of okay, I guess. At least does make the visions a bit better. That's the next draw I was gonna get. So would like to not see a creature here. Yeah, basically just wouldn't like to see a creature here. They probably do have a creature, but yep, there's Pronouncer. Fortunately, that's not the most pressure, but it is pressure. Definitely feel pretty okay with my decision to go Visions, because I mean, Sunken Ambitions, the Pronouncer does do something to prevent the Antelope, but it's not really that efficient to do so, because they still get the land aura. Immediately cracking the what's it is interesting. I guess it makes sense too, the Sealed Driftway in that way. I have to imagine that if I kept up a island here, they wouldn't have run it out. I'm relatively happy to see them exiling Harvester. Feels like I think I'm more scared of land from a card in their hand than Harvester and Yard. So Muckboozer is a good draw because it slows down the pressure a little bit. Muckboozer is merely mostly a 2-3 here. Functionally Ward 2 in this matchup does help make Muckboozer a bit better. But this Riftway is gonna make me very sad sometime during this game. They're hitting the land drops, which does put a bit of a clock on this Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'm mostly hoping they don't have more Pronouncers here. Or an Advocate would also be a little bit scary if they have a burn spell. Just pass. That seems good for me. I have to imagine that this is Here With You, which them holding up does run into my Spell Pierce. I think I Cataract crack it and then go Spellroot Pass, I think. Maybe I just want to run up Visions, Spellroot Pass. I do need to force them to crack the Riftway at some point, so might as well see if they're willing to do it earlier rather than later. Pretty unexciting mills, pretty unexciting draw. Fortunately, they don't mill any Hatswords. No value on that end. So, Wayfarers crack it immediately. Have a forced Spellroot Pass. Imagine I'm gonna be spell pacing here. Possible they just Riftway my Yard here. We'll need to draw a little bit hot to win this game, because, well, I suppose also just them not drawing hot. I suppose maybe it's not crazy to let Here With You resolve just to get the 2 draws, but generally feel like that's a bit sketchy, because it also mostly bricks my Spell Pierce. God. Okay, main phase Here With You. I think I'm on board with this. I think I'm willing to take the draw too. Because I don't really have any. Yeah, I think I take the draw too here. It's really awkward, but I do have a fair bit of tempo here because the Riftway is gonna eat up the rest of the mana. so I will get the first crack at it. And if Riftray doesn't eat up the mana, I might just win with a Dragon's Eye Descendant draw. That's not what I wanted to see. And I guess they do kind of want to. I mean, this spot's just very weird. I imagine that cracking the Riftray on probably. Imagine the crack in the Riftway is probably the safe thing to do. Yeah, this is a very weird matchup so far. They just passed, so that's Riftway or Another Here With You or something. Hate seeing that cataract. I believe I'm attacking with Muckboozer here, so let's go ahead and do take it. Not cracking the Riftway either. I believe I always play Hollow here, so the mana does work out to be a little bit awkward on that. Yep, Riftway does hit my yard. I suppose I do have like some amount of. Do I even have stuff going for me? I don't. Okay, my opponents decide they don't like their chances. Which, I mean, I don't know what's in their hand. Their hand can definitely be very bad here. I'm kind of curious. They have. I mean, they're definitely in a bit of a scary situation. I mean, they are at 8. I'm at 16. Like they're gonna need a lot of effort to get this spell route. If they don't have an advocate, very rough. I mean, it does feel like I am getting away with something here, at least a little bit. If they do end up deciding to concede. So I am still definitely in this game, at least a little bit, hopefully. I don't know. The situation is just very weird. But if they don't have an advocate, then I will have at least a couple more turns. And they decide to play on the edge, range untapped. Is this causing anything? Doesn't look like it. Bodies, there will be spell piercing. And they decide to pack it up. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of a big curious to see if what they had in hand. Just another Ollie's Invocation. Yeah, I think I'm winning here, probably, just by being healthy. Like, it's very weird, but I think if I draw a spell, I'm reasonably good. Hopefully, maybe. Like, they do get orchestrate oddies, but they don't actually have that much damage on board. Not orchestrate, just prize. And they can't really swing out because that's 6 and 5 with ambition. I mean, maybe I am coping a little bit, but yeah, definitely understand why they'd concede, even if my hand was a bit of a paper tiger. It doesn't look like it was a paper tiger because of the spell pierce. Oh, I mean, they of course have game 3 as well, so even I would be on the play. So definitely would consider myself favoring the match, even if my analysis in the game maybe wasn't. I'm not entirely sure if it's correct, but I do believe I will have a bye, so next match I'll be recording will be in top 4. Not sure how the tiebreaker is going to work out, but I think at present I'm facing one of blue-green ramp or red-green prowess. We did face 3 red-green aggro decks this GP. Jeez. Yeah, 2 go wide and 1 prowess. But back to you then. This was round 4 of GPN.